newspapers saying, what are some of the top headlines on the internet suggesting, and what's the social media buzz with? We've got a new application at our hands, Threads now. I've pestered and forced Varghese to join Threads by Instagram. So we'll tell you all about it, and we have a lot to cover. Of course, I'm reading here on the front page of the Indian Express. It says it's an Express exclusive where Brij Bhushan molested, stalked, and is liable to be prosecuted and punished. This coming from the Delhi police. So a first categorical indictment of the former WFI chief. That's something that we're going to talk about. Manipur is again going to be in our focus. Most of the deaths are taking place in Imphal, East and West. And let's not forget that the Supreme Court has been given that fresh status report on Manipur. The Bengal panchayat polls, the counting is happening today. The pre-poll violence, I mean, it's no news to everybody. Even the governor here, he's in Delhi trying to talk about the pre-poll violence and how that's a blot on democracy. Along with that, extremely heavy rain warning for northeast India. And whilst we're talking about rain, we're going to again throw some light on the devastating rains in the north of India, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand. You talk about portions of Uttar Pradesh, completely battered. And of course, scrapping of Article 370 helped Jammu and Kashmir is what the government has told the court. So essentially, too much to talk about. Is there going to be a cabinet berth in the Modi government for Chirag Paswan? Again, that disqualification politics around the Maharashtra potboiler doesn't seem to be ending. Again, 15 MLAs from the Shinde camp, it seems,
including Shinde himself.
Shinde himself might face disqualification. So what's going to happen with the chief minister and 14 other of his loyalists? Well, we'll have to wait and find out. And of course, Lakshya Sen's big feat. That is something that we're going to talk about as well. But first and foremost, Varghese, I'm still looking at pictures. It says rain continues to batter Himachal. The Solan Bias washed away a section of a bridge in Bhuntar Valley in Himachal Pradesh's Kullu district on Monday. Many parts of North India continue to reel under heavy rain. In Himachal Pradesh, 18 people have died. And again, when we're talking about death toll, we must tread carefully because different kind of numbers are going to be reported everywhere.
So as of now, we can safely say that about 30 people have been killed in this rain-related incidents, and probably in the
just in the north,
in the north, where we have most of those incidents have been reported as well. Also, Kabir, yesterday I was trying to tell you what could be the sense of loss that we are looking at, and today, of course, the Tribune has been able to put a number to it. Worst rain crisis, Himachal pegs its losses to 4,000 crores. That is
in terms of property.
In terms of property damage. So
wow.
I'll just read that small this thing for you. Several scary incidents of cloudbursts, landslides, and flash floods, fueled by third day of torrential rains, were witnessed in Himachal on Monday. The state government has pegged its government's estimate that the losses could be around rupees 4,000 crore, even as the death toll has reached 17. That is only in Himachal. So this is what we are.
And it's not just Himachal; it's all of North India. I mean, take a look at what's happened in the national capital, in the adjoining areas. Gurugram is still pretty much a swimming pool, even as water is being pumped out. North India rain toll rises as water level turns dangerous. And the Prime Minister has taken stock of the developments in rain-affected areas of the country. Along with that, like we mentioned right in the beginning, extremely heavy rainfall, which is likely in northeastern India for the next 3 days.
That is, they are saying that this same disturbance will be moving towards northeast.
And this particular disturbance in itself is a combination of two
western disturbances and the monsoon trough together. They are interacting, and that's why we have this huge rain that we are witnessing, especially in the northern belt. And that is why we have a lot of this rain that has been put up.
In the national capital, ladies and gentlemen, the Yamuna River is flowing way above the danger mark. All schools till class 5 have been, shut down. Water level in the Yamuna River breached the 206 millimeter danger mark on Monday night, prompting government agencies to begin evacuation of people living in the floodplains and low-lying areas along the banks of the river at ITO, Kashmiri Gate and near Akshardham and the D&D flyway. At 11 p.m., the river was flowing at 206.04 mm at the water gauge installed at the old Yamuna Bridge.
Yesterday, remember, Atishi, who was out there, said that they are going to monitor, the Delhi Minister Atishi was out on this, and they are monitoring the situation in the Yamuna, and they would take accordingly. They said we'll have to wait for today morning because the dams had opened up, and by the time the water reaches, they would be having an idea of what the flow is going to be like. So probably this action is born out of that monitoring that has happened. Meanwhile, it is not only the Yamuna, the Ghagar has also swollen, and Haryana's low-lying areas have been hit. 6 people have been killed, and there is another statistics, Kabir, which is actually quite worrying. 10,000 acres of fields have been submerged in Karnal. Now, that's from the Tribune that we are hearing. Of course, the government has taken all the precautions required everywhere. The Prime Minister has taken stock of the situation and he is closely monitoring it as well. A feed has been sent to him on that, what is the kind of rescue works that have been carried by the NDRF, as well as what are the losses that are being looked into and what can be done when it comes to, on the part of the government, what can be done post-flood situation, as well as the situation that would emerge immediately after the kind of losses that we are going to see, because 10,000 acres of field submerged in Karnal alone is going to be huge, and that's going to quite affect agricultural output. Also, we have a statement coming in that Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar cancelled all his pre-scheduled programs and held an emergency meeting with the deputy commissioners.
Well, what more do you expect? But take a look at that. I mean, that's straight out of an apocalyptic scene from
these
a
are visuals
movie,
that were coming in,
shot in the Hollywood. Bunch of uprooted trees, and this is dangerous. Look at that. Look at that.
I mean, that is the picture that most of the newspapers have taken to explain what is the kind of situation that Himachal is facing, and that picture shows, remember yesterday, Kabir, I was telling you, like, this has the consistency of concrete, wet concrete. So just imagine this wet concrete flowing from a huge distance as well, and these were the boulders that had loosened up and had fallen at the highways. A lot of people have been stranded because of this. Meanwhile, parts of Patiala, Jalandhar have been flooded. 2 people have died because of rain-related incidents. This again, Tribune is reporting. Some of the aspects that they have highlighted is that crops, homes of at least 20 villages in Garshankar area impacted adversely. Swollen Siswan washes away Rupa Chamkar Sahib Road near Kamalpur village. After a breach in the Band, more than 15 villages near Philor witnessed heavy flooding. Army called in for rescue operations in Patiala, SAS Nagar, Fadgir Sahib and Jalandhar. So, rescue efforts
in Uttar Pradesh, 42 rain-related deaths in just the last 3 days. At least 42 people were killed across Uttar Pradesh. This is just the state alone, in incidents triggered by heavy rain in the last 3 days. This coming from officials from the state. Of the total deaths, 22 were due to lightning, 14 by drowning, while 6 casualties were attributed to heavy rainfall. This according to the information provided by the State Relief Commissioner's office. Now, the incessant rain has thrown life out of gear. We're seeing it on our screens as well, particularly in the eastern part of the state. Meanwhile, the Met Department has predicted heavy rain accompanied by thunderstorms and lightning at several places in the state. CM Yogi Adityanath extended condolences to the families and those who lost their lives in the state of Uttar Pradesh, and instructed officials to distribute relief materials to the affected families. So 42 rain-related deaths in Uttar Pradesh themselves, just in the last 3 days. This as the north reels under rain, many dead as landslides and flash floods block roads. 7 dead in Rajasthan, Varghese, 2 dead in Punjab. NDRF, SDRF deployed in the state of Haryana. This even as the Prime Minister has called up all the chief ministers of these rain-affected areas and has assured centre's help. The Himachal toll has risen to 18 if the numbers put up by Indian Express are anything to go by. And property worth rupees 4,000 crore, like you said, has been damaged.
Well, the Hindu has spoken about what the situation has been. Yamuna inching closer to danger. Mark government starts evacuation, as you had pointed out, and they've given out the pictures on there in that page as to what exactly was happening in Delhi as the thing. But there's a very interesting cartoon here, and in that the headline is, there's an article down which says, same admits to drainage system issues no time for finger pointing is what is being said. But then let me show you the cartoon. I think let's focus on the cartoon. Here you have
On the draw.
On the draw, yeah, that is the special cartoon that they have taken. Yes, we are well prepared, and you have the whole of Delhi, in fact, sinking and flooded, and you have Arvind Kejriwal with his broom trying to go ahead with that Delhi report on probably the drains in the city and how it is functioning. So you have this cartoon that has been put out to say what is
yesterday as well,
exactly.
the Chief Minister said the same thing. That we're well prepared. It's not going to be a flood-like situation. Well, most probably it's not going to be a flood-like situation, but don't worry, residents of Delhi. We're absolutely fine. Everything is under control.
How many of our colleagues came from places that were flooded?
I was on the street myself,
there,
Varghese, on Sunday evening. I know exactly how well prepared Delhi was that evening.
Many of them, in fact, talking about how water was entering their homes, there was backflow through the drainage pipes, so there was building. So, I mean, it was horrible for them, a lot of them. So, most of our colleagues also made it quite late because of the problems that they faced because of the rains. And I think Delhi is completely unprepared. And yesterday also we were speaking about the drain system. Again, the drain system is in focus over here. There needs to be an extensive thought process put into it. Sedimentation being an issue, tertiary and secondary drains not being cleaned up. Encroachments on these natural drains. 201 natural drains are there, of which how many are in existence and actually working is another big question.
I'm just happy that the citizens of Noida have come out and taken this fight back to Delhi.
Oh, what is that story?
About how Noida wasn't waterlogged at all. There's much better planning here. Noida is built by government agencies and not by builders like other parts of Delhi NCR. But talking about this extreme rainfall in the northeast, we've seen floods in Assam as well, and what's going to happen in the northeast is again the rain heavy system is going to shift to the east and the northeast. Record breaking rain in Solan, which is 135 mm rainfall on Monday, breaking a 50-year-old record. So Delhi broke a 40-year-old record. Solan has broken a 50-year-old record. Banihal got 103.8 mm rainfall in the last 24 hours, which is highest for July since the year 1995. And in Bilaspur, 224 millimeter rainfall, surpassing previous record set in the year 2013, almost a decade ago. And in Chandigarh, 531.6 millimeter rainfall in 60 hours. That is 302.2 millimeters between Saturday and Sunday, which is highest for a 24-hour period ever since IMD started maintaining records for Chandigarh in the year 1953.
So I think that a lot of records are going to be broken. With the way you're reading those statistics, it just shows that a lot of records are going to be broken, and they need to in fact be prepared for such things from now onwards. Simply because I think one thing that we should keep keen watch on is that a lot of climate records are being changed because of the kind of weather systems and the changes in weather systems that we are looking at. So we need to be prepared for such things right now, because it's going to become very frequent. The once in a century kind of a situation does not exist anymore.
These are visuals from Assam, Varghese, and the extreme rainfall that has ravaged Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, various parts of North India will likely subside by today, is what the Met Department is saying, although there will be rain over Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh and eastern Rajasthan. But the IMD is also saying that this heavy rainfall system is also likely to move over northeastern India and adjoining areas of eastern India in the next 3 days. In the past 2 days, an interaction between a western disturbance and a monsoon trough led to extremely heavy rainfall over Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand and the North India. And now the unusual interaction of a western disturbance with monsoon trough can be devastating, as witnessed during the 2013 Uttarakhand floods. The good news is that a fresh western disturbance is not expected immediately, although experts warn that Himalayan states need to be prepared for the eventuality, in part due to climate change, which has also led to an increase in the moisture holding capacity of the atmosphere that can supercharge rainfall. India has already seen one western disturbance this year till the 10th of July. Most western disturbances occur in winter in the northern hemisphere, which is essentially December to the month of March. But this year has seen around 20 of them between March and May alone. Perhaps one reason for a milder summer in the north and the northwest India.
Just take a look at those visuals coming in. You can see how the water stagnates. I mean, you have the flowing water, and then you have the water gushing in, and then you have the stagnation bit that happens, and life is made very difficult with it.
Well, certainly, again, urging everybody to choose carefully when they should be stepping out, when they shouldn't be stepping out. These overflowing river systems are definitely taking a toll in places that are low-lying and are inundating those areas with flood-like situations in most of these places, from Assam to Rajasthan to Uttarakhand and the national capital, the hilly states, the Himalayan states. It's all wreaking under the havoc of hefty rains. What's going to happen, even as Beas pummels key tourist spots in Himachal Pradesh, Punjab plans rescue operations as Ravi has now swollen up, Satluj in spate, nearly 100 villages going underwater, Ganga, Yamuna near the danger mark, and a flood alert in Haryana. But the Chief Minister of Delhi says, well, we're well prepared. We can only hope that good sense prevails and that you only step out if it's only necessary. Stay safe and stay dry, ladies and gentlemen. Varghese, what next should we throw some light on? We've spoken about the devastating rains in the north, the extremely heavy rainfall system shifting towards the northeast now. What next? Shall we take a look at what's happening in Manipur as well?
Yeah, we should take a look at what is happening in Manipur. And there was an interesting observation by the CJI. He said that when the status report was submitted and you had Advocate Gonsalves representing the Kuki side form to escalate the violence. So he said that we have given you a hearing, but don't make this into a platform to escalate the violence that is already present in Manipur. So that has become a sort of worry as fast as we know. But then another issue also that has come to light, especially when it comes to the issue about Manipur, is that he also said that law and order in Manipur should be maintained by the state government and the government. So it is the government's duty to maintain that. Basically saying that one of the pleas was for the urgent intervention of the court to maintain law and order. So the court, of course, saying that we are very powerful, but we do draw our line when it comes to the issue about the executive powers, and when it comes to issues of judiciary powers, and when it comes to the legislative powers. So it doesn't want to overstep it. And right now, what as a response the government has given when it comes to Manipur is that they are saying that normalcy is returning to Manipur, is what the government has claimed as of now.
3 women face FIR for terming the state guilty. Take a look at this. An FIR has been registered in Imphal against 3 members of a fact-finding committee, including CPI leader Annie Raja, who had termed the violence in Manipur state-sponsored. Apart from Raja, the other members are Nisha Sidhu from the NIFW and lawyer Diksha Dwivedi. The sections charged include conspiracy to commit offences and provocation with intent to cause riot, amongst others. But Indian Express has put out, this little piece. It says the Manipur government has come out with this data, which says most deaths in Imphal are taking place in Imphal West and East and in Churachandpur. They've got a little map. I'll just show it to the viewers as well. But the deaths across state, Imphal West, 29 deaths. In Bishnupur, 18 deaths. In Kakching, 21 deaths. Churachandpur, 26 deaths. Chandel has the 1 death. Kangpokpi has 8. Imphal East has recorded 29 deaths. Thobal district, 4 deaths, and Tengnupal districts is again another 4 deaths. Beautifully done a map here for many people to understand. This is data as on the 4th of July. So we're already about 7 days late here, about a week late here. But I mean, that's the problem with data collection as well, Varghese. For the viewers, take a look at this map where the government has put out data, and it says that, most of the deaths are taking place in West and East Imphal, and in Churachandpur. So you can see Imphal West up there on the bottom, on the top left, and then you also have Kangpokpi, Imphal East, again 29 deaths, and Kakching 21. So Imphal West, Imphal East, you've got Kakching, Churachandpur, again 26 deaths. So these are your prime hotbeds of violence. On the other hand, the Supreme Court has said on Manipur, but something that you said, that this platform cannot be used as a political platform, and especially a platform that is being used to escalate violence. Yesterday we were talking about quadcopters. Today we are talking about how most of the deaths are taking place in West and East Imphal, in Churachandpur. The government is now slowly coming out with this data. But the 3 women facing FIR for terming the state guilty, they had called whatever was happening in the Tenuous state as a state-sponsored violence. What's your take on this? Where are we headed from here?
Well, it was a statement that was made by Ani Raja in Kochi, if I am not wrong, and that statement was made to a specific audience as well. And I've just got the Hindu's article on that. Senior Communist Party CPI leader Ani Raja said in Kochi on Saturday, the statement was made, that the ongoing disturbance in Manipur was state-sponsored and that the government had failed to quell the violence. Ms. Raja, who was part of a 3-member team that visited the violence-hit regions and the relief camps, alleged that the situation in Manipur was grim and that the relief camps lacked even basic facilities for women and children. So this was part of their team that had gone to visit the place, and then this strong statement coming in from Ani Rajan. Of course, the case has been taken against her and probably the 2 others who had gone for that fact-finding as such. So,
what do you make of CJI Chandrachud's statement?
Well, as I said, CJI Chandrachud doesn't want to step through certain red lines, in the sense that, it is not the Supreme Court, unless there is an extraordinary situation.
Well, it is an extraordinary situation.
Say that, no, when I'm saying an extraordinary situation, Kabir, we should say that there are some situations in which you have to draw the red line. Now here the case, there is a proper process happening, that the center is involved in this, trying to bring in peace. The state government is also trying to put in as much as effort as possible to get in peace. You have the courts in Manipur also involved in this. Recently you had the partial lifting of the internal, the internet ban, yeah. And then you have the pleas are being heard in the Supreme Court. So when you talk about intervention, there is already 2 mechanisms of the government working already. You have the executive function already there. So it doesn't look like the judiciary should overstep and complicate the situation with the executive. So they're letting the executive to function as fast as possible, and probably that is what he was trying to say when he says that the Supreme Court is very powerful but doesn't want to cross that red line unnecessarily, basically. So right now when he says that, please see, the process of law is happening, so let the process of law happen. I mean, they have been given a platform to air their concerns. The Supreme Court judges are hearing it. After that they will come to a conclusion whether to intervene or not, but till then it shouldn't be used as a platform for mudslinging and playing local politics is what they're, because there's a larger impact. The larger issue is that why we are not able to bring peace even now. So those roadblocks need to be first removed, to get both the community leaders on a peace table. So I think that is the focus right now, and therefore right now the Supreme Court doesn't want to complicate the situation by meddling with the executive's already initiated initiatives.
Well, the indiscriminate firing certainly needs to stop. How do we get to peace? I'm not even going to trivialize the situation by saying that we need peace. Peace is paramount, because everybody knows that. We're all just trying to understand how to get to that particular point. You've got something interesting over there, Varghese?
Well, I just have one very good article that has come up, especially when we look at the Northeast. And when we're talking about the Northeast, there is one interesting aspect that has come. I think it is there in the center pages as well. This is the story, and this story is something of concern for a lot of people. People who have been raising the issue of illegal immigrants. Center instructs Manipur, Mizoram to record biometrics of illegal migrants by September. So there is a huge instruction that
how will that be possible? I mean,
The fact remains is that whether there are illegal migrations that are also, fueling this kind of a violence cycle is what
But
the centre does.
certainly, that's also no news to anybody right now.
Yeah, this was
but
like sharing the letter on Twitter. BJP minister from Imphal West suggests that this is a step towards NRC. So again, a huge, statement being made over there. Ethnic violence between the Meitei and Kuki communities erupted on Manipur May 3rd, leading to the killing of more than 140 people and internal displacement of 54,000 people. After a military coup in Myanmar in February 2021, over 40,000 refugees from neighboring country have taken shelter in Mizoram, and around 4,000 refugees are said to have entered Manipur. The refugees belong to the Kuki Chinzo ethnic group comprising the Lai, Tidmanzomi, Luzai and Holango tribes are closely related to the communities in Mizoram and Manipur. India and Myanmar share a 1,643-kilometer border, and people on either side have familial ties. The Mizoram government arranged relief camps for the refugees.
Again, Varghese.
Yes.
Home Ministry asking Manipur or Mizoram governments to record biometrics of these quote-unquote illegal migrants by the 30th of September, which essentially means give them another 15 days. That's another 15th of October. Do you think even by the 15th of October, you're going to be able to do that? To complete your biometric, recording all biometrics of all these illegal, migrants. You're going to see clashes about why you're calling me illegal, why you're calling me a migrant. All of those things will come about, to the fray. So, I mean, the Home Ministry has just asked Manipur and Mizoram, how is the, common public going to receive this particular step is something that we'll have to wait and find out. 142 dead in Manipur clashes till the 4th of July. Centre informs SC that 142 people have died in Manipur clashes till the 4th of July. There's a trail of bloodshed, of course. The state government has cited police complaints in its updated status report that was filed in the Supreme Court on Monday, which is why we have all this data at our disposal suddenly today. 5,053 incidents of arson. Take a look at that. A little box that the Hindustan Times has put out. It says 5,000 incidents of arson that have been recorded over here, right over here. 5,053 incidents of arson that have been recorded, 181 arrests that have been made so far. Most casualties in the valley. There are 16 districts in Manipur, but the state is commonly divided into valley, which is dominated by the Meiteis, and the hill districts, which is home to the Nagas and the Kuki Zomi tribes. Again, a breakup of the 16 districts of Manipur and the death toll in those particular areas. So 142 dead in Manipur clashes till the 4th of July. What's happened in the last 1 week is, again, that information is still out there. One still needs to corroborate that particular information. But from quadcopter violence to socio-economic fault lines, every day we're getting news about arson, vandalism. What next is the bigger question. And I'm done with saying that peace must prevail, because what's really happening on the ground is a totally picture in a stark contrast. And how far will this new biometric recording go in terms of curbing the violence, curbing the unrest, giving confidence to the people of the tenuous state of Manipur? And this is not just happening in Manipur, it's happening in Mizoram as well. Illegal migrants, well, it is going to be a sensitive and touchy topic. We'll have to see how the government and the executive, tread carefully over there. Shifting our focus here, right on the front page of the Indian Express. Well, yes, you have a special story on Brij Bhushan. It says repeated continuing harassment, sections 354, 354A, 354D that have been invoked. This is the first categorical indictment of the former Wrestling Federation of India chief Brij Bhushansharansingh, a BJP minister, was stationed at the Jantar Mantar himself. When I visited Jantar Mantar, it was quite peculiar for me to find out that the wrestlers and the athletes were actually protesting at Jantar Mantar, and walking distance was Brij Bhushansharansing's house, and I'm sure he wasn't really over there. Charge sheet details accounts of 15 witnesses who corroborate allegations. Varghese, Brij Bhushan molested, stalked, and is liable to be prosecuted and punished. This coming from the Delhi police. How big of a development is this?
It's a huge development, and of course, Indian Express has also set out the series of charges that would be invoked against him, invoking sections 506, which is criminal intimidation, 354, outrageous modesty of a woman, 354A, sexual harassment, 354D, stalking. The charge sheet dated on June 13 has also flagged that in one case, Singh's harassment was repeated and continuing. In two of the 6 cases, Singh has been booked under sections 354, 354A and 354D, while 4 cases were under sections 354 and 354A. Now, these carry a prison term of up to 5 years, is what these charges in fact put out to. Meanwhile, the wrestlers have said in the same article, as you were reading, and I'm looking at the same article from the Indian Express, the wrestlers have flagged the same charges before the oversight panel, but no action was taken.
Again, how important again to note that the wrestlers had flagged the same charges, on which the Delhi police has now, it seems, has taken some sort of action, but the oversight panel took no action at all.
The 6-member committee led by former boxing world champion Mary Kom was set up on January 23rd in the wake of the first protests in January.
And essentially, this particular committee by Mary Kom was unable to take action to now what the Delhi police has taken action. But then again, the Delhi police had also faced its own set of criticism about how it went about in this case. Many people had alleged a botched up probe and investigation in this particular case. They did not carried out the investigation thoroughly. That's another pressure that was put on the Delhi police. So maybe that's why Delhi police has taken some sort of action. Why call Mary Kom out, who's already fought for the country, got us those, awesome medals as well. Why put all the blame on that committee, that oversight panel, when the Delhi police itself, the police itself couldn't take action? Why are we hoping and expecting an oversight panel to take action?
Well, also there is the contents of the probe committee's report was mentioned in toto in Delhi police charge sheet and have been submitted as an annexure. During the deposition, one wrestler complained that Singh touched her stomach and chest 3 to 4 times and continued to comment on her breathing pattern. Well, I'm not going more further into it because there are very horrible manner in which some of the wrestlers have alleged the kind of treatment that they were meted with. So I'm not just reading up.
Wrestler 2's allegation says, I was lying down on the mat and the accused, to my shock and surprise, without seeking my permission, pulled up my t-shirt, placed his hand on my breast and slid it down my stomach on the pretext of checking my breathing. Wow. Those are some stark and stern allegations. This at the Federation office. Witnesses' accounts, which is the brother and the husband, says she appeared to be visibly upset when she came out of the office. On that day, she did not tell him, who's the brother, anything about the incident, but later on came to know about the incident with the complainant after the FIR was registered. 2 to 3 unknown persons came to him, who was the husband, and threatened them with dire consequences and asked them to keep away from locking horns with Brij Bhushansharansingh. Now, wrestler 3's allegations, ladies and gentlemen, he made me talk to my parents on the phone. The accused, Brij Bhushansharansingh, called me towards his bed. He tried to hug me forcefully without my permission. He tried to bribe me by offering to buy me supplements which I may require as an athlete in exchange for sexual favors. Now, the witnesses' accounts, which is the mother and 3 wrestlers, the mother says that the mother corroborated the allegations pertaining to the victim narrating the incident to her upon returning from the event. She also corroborated the allegation of repeated calls made by the accused Brij Bhushansharansingh after the return of the victim from Kazakhstan. The witnesses also say that she supported the version of the complainant regarding the narration of incident to her by the victim. Wrestler 4's allegation, ladies and gentlemen, says, Brij Bhushansharansingh pulled up my t-shirt and slid his hand down my stomach and put his hand on my navel on the pretext of checking my breathing. What do you make out of these allegations? Wrestler 6's allegations. On the pretext of getting a picture clicked with me, he pulled me towards him by my shoulder to protect myself. I tried moving away from the accused. He said, ज़्यादा smart बन रही है क्या? आगे कोई competition नहीं खेलना क्या तूने? Acting too smart. You don't want to be considered for tournaments in the future now, do you? Those are the kind of allegations that have now been put out. If this is what the wrestlers were saying from day one, I mean, then maybe you can raise an eyebrow on the oversight panel for not taking any kind of action.
Well, that is quite surprising. That's why I couldn't go further reading into it because, I mean, this is really shocking. If you have such, accusations coming in, and if there is no action being taken, it just says that some committees are
What
dead.
next for Brij Bhushan, Varghese? What next for Brij Bhushan here? Because from day one, people have been saying, why is he still on that office? Why is he still, maintaining the post that he does? Why is he still? He's come out before this. He's come out in a show of strength, and he said that he's going to fight the elections.
In this country, of course, unless the court says you're convicted, you're just an accused. So right now he's an accused, and the due process of law seems to be on its track right now, especially though it's been a little delayed because it happened only after the attention was there because of the wrestlers' protest. But right now, the allegations that are coming in and what the report in fact shows, and this huge report coming in the Indian Express also, it just shows that there is a process of law taking place right at the moment. So Brij Bhushan will be treated as an accused in this. He will have to fight it out in the court to prove his innocence, of course. These are allegations. And these are allegations that have been made by a series of wrestlers.
So but there is categorical indictment now as well for Brij Bhushan.
There is.
Ladies and gentlemen, those who are watching this stream right now, please get down in the comment sections. Help us understand what side of the divide do you stand on? What's happening with Brij Bhushansharansingh? Is it late? Is justice delayed? Justice denied? Brij Bhushansharansingh, of course, will get a chance when he's tried in court to put forth his viewpoint. But the fact that the oversight panel could not take any sort of action, the Delhi police earlier could not take any sort of action, and if these allegations are proved in court, then I mean one really has to call out the government of the day for how long it stuck on with Brij Bhushansharansingh as well. He still continues to hold that kind of sway.
See, it would have been the process should have been very simple, that the person who was facing all these allegations would have to clear his name. So he would have said that he need not resign, but at least the functions of the WFI could have been handed over to a committee, and then say that I have to face these allegations that are put against me. I'll fight it legally. Cleared his name, and then would have come to head the federation. That should have been the norm, and that is the norm in many places. If there are allegations, you step down, investigation takes place, due process of law takes place, and then if you're convicted or you are exonerated of those charges that have been put against you, and then you continue with your life. Right now, the situation is such that these people are to come on the streets, and then you have the politics behind it, and then the questions being raised on the investigation pattern, and after all that you have this coming up. So right now I think there
is a little bit of a rot in the system. Otherwise you wouldn't see a legendary PT Usha also going up against the athletes. I mean, of course it was a misunderstanding, it was later clarified, but these kind of situations, Mary Kom being pitted against these athletes, PT Usha, our legendary athletes being pitted against each other, just really horrible to see, and not really heartwarming at all, trust you me. Allegation from wrestler 1 says, I was out for dinner in the hotel restaurant. The accused, Brij Bhushansharansingh, called me to his dinner table, placed his hand on my breast, groped me, and then slid his hand down to my stomach repeatedly for 3-4 times in the WFI office. He started touching me inappropriately on my palm, knee, thighs, without my consent. He puts his hand on my chest and slid it down to my stomach on the pretext of checking my breathing. So there is a pattern here. On the pretext of breathing is, allegedly all these actions have been carried out. So Brij Bhushan molested, stalked, and is liable to be prosecuted. This is what the Delhi police says. Repeated continuing harassment, sections 354, 354A, 354D that Varghese spoke about before, and the charge sheet details accounts of 15 witnesses who corroborate those allegations. We just read out 6 of those allegations, and again, one must take note of the fact that the wrestlers flagged the same again and again before this particular categorical indictment of the former WFI chief, but no action was taken. That is something that is supposed to be noted. What's the road looking like next for Brij Bhushan? Of course, we're looking at 2024 elections and everything and anything that happens under the sun
It's going to be a
looked
long
under the
legal
political
battle for
lens.
both the people who
Certainly,
waged
certainly.
the allegations and, of course, the person who's facing the allegations. But it took such a long time, Kabir, to even get to this.
Well, certainly. Right next to this particular news is a small little piece, challenge to be heard today. This on the abrogation of Article 370. It says, and this is because of the affidavit that was submitted by the centre in the honourable court. It says, era of progress and peace in Jammu and Kashmir since 2019. Government tells the Supreme Court over Article 370 move. It has brought people of region into the mainstream, is what the centre says in the affidavit. I'll just read a couple of lines, then we'll go across to Varghese. Describing the changes made to Article 370 of the Constitution in August 2019, it ended the special status of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir as historic. The centre told the Supreme Court on Monday that the move brought unprecedented development, progress, security and stability to the region, which was often missing during the old Article 370 regime. It also said that this is a testament to the fact that parliamentary wisdom has been exercised prudently. In a fresh affidavit filed a day before the Supreme Court was due to take up a clutch of petitions challenging the Article 370 move and reorganization of the state into the Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, the centre said that since 2019, the entire region has witnessed an unprecedented era of peace, progress and prosperity. It is submitted that life has returned to normalcy in the region after over 3 decades of turmoil.
3 decades of turmoil, and this case against the abrogation of Article 370 is coming up after 3 years in the SC, and it's a 5-judge bench that is in fact looking into it as well. And this affidavit in fact comes to explain why Article 370 through parliamentary or legislative powers has been abrogated, and what it has led to in terms of development and the other factors of security in it. Of course, we know that the state of Jammu and Kashmir has now been reduced to the union territory of Jammu and Kashmir with a legislature, and you have the union territory of Ladakh without a legislature, which actually compromises the larger area of Jammu and Kashmir as seen from earlier, and Jammu and Kashmir being reduced to Jammu as well as the Kashmir regions that we have seen. But the article's move is being defended in the court, and Article 370, of course, we know that it gave some special privileges to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, of course, there are two thought processes to it. One is whether does Article 370 actually integrate Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of the country, because none of the states had that kind of privileges that was assigned as in Article 370 as the state of Jammu and Kashmir. They had their own constitution, they had a larger degree of autonomy on a lot of matters, but then it was not completely integrated when there. So those who are talking about integrating the whole state of Jammu and Kashmir or the territory of Jammu and Kashmir today with the rest of the India have been advocating is that every state has integrated with the Union of India, and therefore why should Jammu and Kashmir be given a separate status and a separate privilege? In that case, the linguistic states in the south or a linguistic state like Gujarat or Odisha, all of them could demand for it. But they all are part of the integrated Indian Union, which means people can freely move through these states, they can settle in any of these states, they can look for livelihood in any of these states except for Jammu and Kashmir. So what the removal of Article 370 has done, when it looks from the government's point of view, it has integrated the state. That is why they're saying there's development that has been brought in, there's been security that has been brought in. We are talking about integration of that state and the people with the rest of the country. What happened effectively was that the integration process of Jammu and Kashmir, I belong to that group who say that the integration process of Jammu and Kashmir was not carried out in the way it should have been done, because you were given a special assurance to its through the instrument of accession, saying that it will be part of India because of these guarantees that is going to be given.
Top leaders in Jammu and Kashmir are now saying that now that the delimitation process is over, calling upon the central government to carry out elections over there.
Of course, the union territory they want, and now the issue for most of the political parties in Jammu and Kashmir would be looking at the more than the violence that is happening, is about restoring the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. And when the article was abrogated, some time back, the centre did say that it doesn't mean that the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir will be forever the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. If time permits and if situation improves, it will get its statehood back. But then there is a huge question about Ladakh. Yeah, there's a huge question about Ladakh as a union territory, whether it will be brought back to Jammu and Kashmir.
Challenges are going to be heard today in the Supreme Court. In the affidavit, the government has already said that an era of progress and peace in Jammu and Kashmir has prevailed since 2019. The J&K Constitution, just going to end with this real quickly. The move to abolish J&K Constitution has been challenged because the Legislative Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir had no power under the J&K Constitution to recommend any amendment to any provision of the Constitution of India. Article 147 of the J&K Constitution barred the Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly from seeking to make any change in provisions of the Constitution of India as applicable in relation to the state. It has been argued that this means even the J&K Legislative Assembly wasn't legally competent to give consent to the President's order. And then again, there's the point of downgrading to the Union Territory. The Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act 2019 bifurcated J&K into the two Union Territories that you were talking about. J&K was a UT with the Legislative Assembly. Ladakh was without an assembly. Now, there is no other instance in India's constitutional history of a state being demoted to a UT. Even though Parliament can, under Article 3, create a new state by carving out territory from any state, uniting two or more states or portions of different states. Parliament is also empowered to add area to an existing state or change the existing boundaries of a state. So those challenges are going to be heard today. What's going to happen next for Jammu and Kashmir, where people are hoping for elections, being demoted to a union territory? What happened? What could the Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly do? What was it competent over? What was it competent over? Not over? Well, we'll have to wait and find out. We're running out of time here, but I must, stress on this little element here as well, because the West Bengal panchayat polls, the voting is the counting is taking place today, and there was a lot of pre-poll violence in West Bengal. Repolling took place in South 24 Paraganas districts, Baruipur, but the Bengal governor, he's in Delhi, and C.V. Ananda Bose has time and again said that, it's the election commission should have come out, the state election commission should have come out. We already know who are these political warlords calling out each other parties. Mamata Banerjee comes out and says that this is a constitutional post. Listen, you can't come out and make these political statements. You're not a state leader. You're a governor. Maintain and do the governor's job and let us do our job, essentially. But the bottom line again is that there is violence. Nobody can deny that, can they?
No,
and
but yeah, the local body comes and says that, in Bengal, as you rightly said, has been marred by violence. And Ananda Bose, the West Bengal governor, had time again reiterated that issues are there. And in Delhi, he met with Home Minister Amit Shah and has given him a report of what is actually happening on the ground in West Bengal. So the visit to Delhi was actually to meet with the powers that be on it. And by the way, the counting is today. In the local body polls, the counting will begin today. It's already started. It's supposed to have started by 8 o'clock, and now it has already started. And the repolling, as you said, was very much peaceful. But the fact remains is that it is a poll that has been marred by violence. And another issue that is cropping up over here, Kabir, is that now you have West Bengal governor also picking up a fight with the chief minister of a state. Already we have the situation. Yesterday we saw how CM Stalin and N. Ravi are having a big fight in their state. And Tamilisai versus KCR in Telangana.
Before the elevation of Jagdeep Dhankar from West Bengal, I'm sure Jagdeep Dhankar didn't see eye to eye with Mamata Banerjee.
It's been a governor versus chief minister situation in most of the states that are,
Arif Muhammad Khan versus Pinarayi Vijayan. And Vijayan, M.K. Stalin, Mamata Banerjee, and now we'll add Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal to that list, have called out the federal structure of our country.
So they are all questioning what is the role of the governor. And most of the governors have, in fact, said, the recent controversy, R.N. Ravi saying that a person can enjoy being the minister according to the pleasure of the governor, and same question being raised by Arif Mohammad Khan in Kerala as well. So, the powers of the governor is being trying to be defined. But over here we have Ananda Bose, who's taking up the issue of violence, and of course he's spoken about it. So the governor has a point when it comes to violence in West Bengal. But again, it has become another flashpoint between a chief minister and the governor. So let's see how this is also going to pan out.
Well, so West Bengal Panchayat polls 2023, the results are going to be out today. TMC is leading in most of those Zilla Parishad seats, at least in Cooch Behar, as per the initial poll trends. If you're looking at, North 24 Paraganas, the TMC leads in 5 Panchayat Samiti seats. Initial poll trends from Nadia suggest that the TMC is currently leading. So whatever, initial trends that I'm leading, it seems like, TMC is leading. South 24, North 24, in Cooch Behar, all those places it seems like the TMC is in the lead, which again points out to the same question of what BJP candidates were talking about, that they fear for their life. On the other hand, many people were also suggesting that it's a proper proper dramaturgy at display when you see the BJP candidates sitting in their offices saying that we're scared to even step out because we'll be killed. But many people were also suggesting that that's also proper play of theatrics.
The TMC has been also
initial trend suggests
TMC
is in the lead. The results, well, we'll put that out for you. CV Ananda Bose, he's called out the pre-poll violence and has given Amit Shah a report. What's going to happen next, even as we're looking at this governor versus chief minister, several other examples that Varghese also gave to you. So, well, today at 11, we're going to do a Kerala-specific story. Then at 1 p.m., you've got a roundup of everything that's happening around the globe. Later on in the evening, our international story, and at 7 p.m., to the point with the biggest topic, point, and discussion of the day. Many thanks for joining with us. I appreciate you getting down in the comment sections and helping us out. What you like, what you don't like, what you'd want us to do. That's all the time we have for you. This is Varghese and Kabir signing off. Keep watching News 9 Live.
GPT. It can generate codes and human-like responses through text, write stories, and do a lot more.
I work in a newsroom with anchors, researchers and scriptwriters, graphic artists, producers, video editors, camera crew. But does a newsroom really need them today? All of us have to think about unique and distinctive value addition that cannot be automated or repeated or